Kim Williams, Managing Director of, I'll get this, Sublime Marketing.
That's correct.
And Director of Business Women Connect here on the coast.
Yes, that's right.
Your time's up. Thanks for coming. No, thanks for being part of it.
That was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Great.
Business Insider. Let's start with Sublime Marketing. It used to be called Sublime Marketing and Innovations, but you've restructured, in a lot of ways forced, but under your control, which is cool. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, basically, when I became a company, I re-looked at my client base and who I really wanted to help and the areas I wanted to specialise in. As you know, marketing's very much a niche area, so you could focus on the PR side or you could be an event coordinator. There's lots of different things. So I guess I looked at it that way and really wanted to focus on the marketing and took that step.
Is that your competitive advantage? People come to you for the marketing?
Probably, and I think for the relationships that I've built over the years, I think dependent on the client, that is obviously useful. It's just one of those things, I think. But I think relationship building is probably the most important thing. And I've built very good relationships with people along the time, if they're in a Chamber of Commerce and things like that. So.
Yeah, you've been heavily involved there. Looking back, is there one or two strategies that you would like to discuss with us?
Sure. I think firstly you've got to be passionate about what you're going to do or don't do it, because you won't be as successful. Obviously goal setting is really important, and I think relationship building is one of the main factors. You need to build the great relationships with your clients.
Share us a goal. Can you? One of your 2 or 3 of your goals, that would be.
Okay, well, I guess one of the biggest goals was with Business Women Connect. I really wanted to grow the network and make it somewhere that women could go to feel empowered and to support each other. And that has been very successful. But then if I go to,
I guess there are other women's groups that say the same thing. What do you do differently with Business Women?
I think it's what we target, the topics that we target and the systems we put in place to actually support the women. It isn't just come along and network and somebody will talk for 20 minutes. We really target our speakers, we target our activities.
We might stop there. You just had 105 women, well not, you had 105 guests.
Women, yep, all women yesterday for Business Women Connect, yep.
Listening to
Kate Ellis, the Honourable Kate Ellis, Minister for Employment, Participation, Childcare and the Status of Women. So that was a big coup for us to get Kate to come from Adelaide, and she was a fantastic speaker, very inspirational, and it was extremely well received. I've received 15 to 20 emails already this morning saying, want to be more involved, you know, so-and-so told me how good your lunch was yesterday, and that, you know, that's what we love to hear.
Okay, that's cool. So building that was a strategy.
Sure.
Do you have numbers? When you set a goal, do you say, okay, building is fine?
Yep, you do.
You sounded like I do, but you don't. Do you have numbers?
Well, you might. No, I do. I do have numbers.
Okay,
yes.
Cool.
So you look at your average over the year, and then you look at how you want to increase that. Our biggest luncheon was 175 people when Julie Goodwin won MasterChef. That was our biggest lunch ever. So yesterday, 105 people is a great representation, you know, of women on the coast, and it is very much a whole Central Coast network.
So who is your preferred attendee at those?
It could be anyone. We get a lot of business owners, but we get a lot of business development managers, marketing managers, managing directors that just want to come along, meet people, and basically it depends on the topic. So whoever your speaker is really very important, because people will come if they will gain something from it.
Okay, okay. So that was part of that strategy, but that...
Absolutely.
How long have you been running?
3 years.
3 years.
Yep,
okay.
I took that over from Simone Preston 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago now. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And running in line with that was Sublime Marketing.
Yep.
Did it take a back seat during that time, or?
It does at times, because it's difficult depending on what clients you're working with and you know what your focus needs to be at that point in time.
And you've got some longer-standing clients with Sublime.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Repeat clients or clients that come back for a certain reason or a certain event. You know, at the moment I'm dealing with Central Coast Radiation Oncology, and that's a public relations campaign about cancer treatment. So that's been very ongoing, and they are my main client at the moment, because I cannot, if I could clone myself, I would be very happy. I think cloning myself would be great, but at the moment that really needs my focus. So I have smaller clients, but they're the main one at the moment.
Okay, cool. The next 12 months, what will you change? What will be different?
I would like to grow the network and basically give women more opportunities on the coast.
You've got some awards coming up.
We do, Saturday the 24th of September, which is a great acknowledgement of everything, you know, that women have achieved over the last 12 months on the coast. There's some outstanding applicants, and it was very close.
Yeah.
I mean, some people missed out on being a finalist by half a mark. So it was that close. And one of the, it's been quite educational for me, knowing so many businesses on the coast, you know, being involved with the Chamber of Commerce and then Business Women Connect, you do get to know quite a lot of people, but you don't necessarily know what their capabilities are, what their achievements are, and what their goals are, because women are a lot more reticent to put themselves forward in a positive light. So the applications were absolutely amazing. There's women I've known for 10 years on the coast that I had no idea there was other things that they did.
I was about to pull you up for being sexist there, because I think there are a heap of men on the coast who don't put themselves forward either.
Yeah.
But now isn't the time to talk like that. So
we could save that for a debate sometime. We could talk about gender equality. That's what the Minister talked about yesterday.
Indeed, we could. Indeed, we could. We just ran an article that women get, on average, paid 18% less.
Yes, that's right.
So,
and in this day and age, that's
crazy
ridiculous.
Indeed. We won't go there.
No.
Not for discussion. No. Well, it is for discussion.
Yes.
We would love to run some stories on your winners, so we'll stay in touch over those.
That'd be fantastic.
Work-life balance?
Doesn't exist for me at the moment. I do believe it does exist for some people, but
Who gets it then? Who, if it's not for you?
If it's not for me, Michelle Allen's got it.
Right, okay.
It took her 2 years to get it, and I know she was, you know, it was a plan, it was very focused. I see a lot of women in the network who struggle with the work-life balance, and that is probably the biggest problem that women have, is the work-life balance. So I think it's appropriate that people have it at different times, but with changing situations and environments, like at the moment, there's no work-life balance for me. But this is my busiest period of the year.
Yeah, yeah. So you have it. It's just
it's at different times. It's just, but I couldn't say yes every week. I only work 40 hours and I have weekends off and I do wonderful things during the week.
Yeah. But every one of those 105 women yesterday would be the same, I would think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I also know 105 men who are just the same as well.
Who are just the same as well.
We may have to no, we won't.
Yes. Statistically, actually, that was one of the statistics that the Minister touched on yesterday. They did a survey and they surveyed men and said, how much do you really do at home duties? And, and statistically, they said 30%. 30%.
Stop! No.
Sorry.
You didn't need to go there. My wife watches this stuff.
It was very interesting. Sorry.
Thank you. Cut that out, Rob. With that lack of work life, you're surviving knowing that it will get better, though, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. It's for a period of time. It just happens to be my busiest time. I assume for what I call normal businesses, like your accountants and that type of thing, obviously for them it would be end of financial year. I think every business has its peak, but I think a work-life balance is something that has to be a long-term goal and you actively have to work towards it. Okay. I think it can be achieved in the right circumstances.
Yeah, yeah. We should stay in touch to make sure you do that planning.
To make sure I actually do have the work-life balance, yeah.
Let's talk about your soapbox, your rant, if you will.
My rant? Well, I guess for me, you know, I sort of thought, okay, what can I talk about for 60 seconds that really bothers me? I think it's that business people are so apathetic. They sit back, they have a bit of a whinge when the government changes regulations and rules and whatever applies to them. Life's tough, business is tough. Is it really meant to be that easy? We can't change what other people do, but we can change how we react to it. So as far as I'm concerned, if the business climate isn't suitable to your business, then you need to re-strategize, look at your business plan and adapt accordingly. So I don't think there's one government department that's traumatising all of business. I think the climate and the situation is what you're in. Take a good look at yourself, see if you need to diversify and how you move forward.
What is it? Have a glass of cement and just harden
That's
harden
right.
up.
Just harden up, you know.
Indeed.
And I mean, look, it is tough and it's tough for everyone.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could rant about the fact that there's too many homeless people on the coast, or that there's people that can't get cancer treatment, or that there's, you know, women living in domestic violence situations.
Or that we have to pay workers' comp or
That's
payroll
right.
tax.
But they're essential things, you know. They're things that we have to do that we operate.
And the discussion would be about whether they're essential things, but they are part of the environment you choose to run a business in.
Absolutely. So I'm not saying don't write to your federal member, but I'm saying do something about it. If you really think that it's wrong, then do something about it. Write a letter, form a group, get the cause out there, write a press release, send it to the paper, or find like-minded people that can help support your cause, but do something about it.
Don't sit there.
Don't sit there and whinge about it. Okay. Get out there and do something about it.
I'm on a roll here.
Sure.
The Central Coast. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have certain characteristics that are perceived as negatives. We also have what I think are probably 85% of our characteristics that should be viewed as almost heaven sent.
Absolutely.
When you look at the coast, do you see a competitive advantage here? Do you see something we should be focusing on as a region?
Absolutely. I think the fact that we are so well placed, we're an hour from Newcastle, we're an hour from Sydney, we have the beautiful beaches, we probably have less cultural facilities than they do in Sydney, so okay, you can't go to the opera on the Central Coast, but we have it all, and we have it all here, and we can do it much cheaper in terms of land, in terms of development. I think the Central Coast is a fantastic place to do business.
Is there some sort of business we should be doing more of here?
I don't think there's one particular area that we're lacking. I think obviously more manufacturing, we could have more outsourced government departments from Sydney. I think business is moving away from Sydney, particularly with the advances in video conferencing and things like that. People can be connected, they can work from home, and I think we have that advantage that other areas don't have.
Okay.
So, but I think any form of business should look at coming to the coast.
And you and I share the fact that that's the environment we choose.
Sure.
We can choose to sit and whinge, or we can choose to get off our butts and do something.
Absolutely.
And you'd encourage men to come along? Would they understand the discussion? No. You'd encourage men to come along to Business Women Connect, I would think?
We have one luncheon a year.
Right.
That we actually invite men to.
Oh, right.
It's actually a breakfast next month to suit our speaker, Gina Jeffries. Oh. So we're raising money for domestic violence that day, and we've got 10 very high-profile men on the coast that are doing a bit of a surprise. So men are actually welcome at this function.
Oh, right.
And at our awards function, it's just our core luncheons that we exclude men from. But I would point out that there are several rotaries and things on the coast that are men only.
Oh, no, I have no problem with exclusivity. Yeah. I think it builds gender strength.
I think it does.
So, no, you don't have to.
But there's a lot of gentlemen that would question why they can't attend.
Let them come on and let's have a chat.
I always reply the same way. If you put on a wig and a dress, you can attend.
We've talked briefly about the fact that 30 or 40,000 people a day leave the coast, and many of those are strong, powerful women in business. To grow a stronger coast, we need that sort of talent, not just female, but men as well. And we're asking the same question.
Yep.
How can we engage? How can Business Women Connect engage with those women to show them what's here? And I guess present an argument that says, stay here.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great question. I think in part it ties into what you were asking me about business moving to the coast and our competitive advantage, etc. We've just started a program, a pilot program with the Department of Education and Youth Connections that involves business women mentors from our group and some from outside our group that connect with Year 12 students to give them guidance, give them experience in the business. It's not like a work experience program, it is a mentoring online program. So we're starting to try and connect with them at that Year 12 moment when they really are unsure about what they're doing, and we're hoping that we can open them up. That's a starting point for opportunities so that they understand what opportunities are available on the coast.
Let me be argumentative.
Yep.
And so, out of character for me. I would have suggested that Year 12 girls are not the low-hanging fruit, that they are still to be trained, they are still to be developed, and you know, the statistics say that if 100 of those go to university, 60% of them will change their discipline within the time. So, and they need to be encouraged and they need to be shown a pathway through. And please, on my advice, don't stop the mentoring. We need to make sure it's happening for the boys as well.
Absolutely.
But how do can we not attract the 30-something women or to say, get uncomfortable here on the coast, make a go of it. You know, Kim Williams can talk to you about pain and how you manage things, as many others could. So how do we talk to them?
That's a good question, and it is actually one, to be honest, that I have never considered. I mean, and obviously we all know the statistics about people travelling to Sydney or Newcastle for work. I think it does tie in with the fact that we need more larger employers on the Central Coast. We are challenged. There is a skills shortage. There shouldn't be, because those people are from the Central Coast that go off to Sydney. We need to make our work environment better. We need to give them more opportunities. But I also think it's the identification of those people that would be difficult, but I'd certainly be open to looking at starting some kind of program to engage those. I guess it would be dependent on the area. You would have to look at whether you get them at university or at a TAFE course or things like that. It would depend exactly if we could find data on the breakdown.
Business Insider would love to work with you on that.
That'd be great.
Because you're right. You know, we need the businesses here, but equally these smart people can start businesses here.
Absolutely.
And if NBM comes to town, you know, they can telecommute.
Absolutely, and that will make everybody's life on the coast easier, not just for businesses at home as well, but for people commuting, and hopefully that will stop people leaving the coast and spending their money elsewhere.
And the blokes will have more time to help with the
That's right, with the domestic duties and the other things that happened around the house. Absolutely.
Now I'm going.
Thank you.